Let's go. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. Yes, I hate everything from Dallas, too. What? Woo! Often imitated, never duplicated. That fool with no hair that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! The R8RBEAR! Alexa, shut up. Goodness gracious. Apparently she gave me a little bit more of an X-rated version of my song tonight. I apologize if anyone could make out what that fool was saying, because it was pretty bad. I don't remember that mix being that bad. So what's up? They've changed it on me a couple times because it's YouTube. This is my third iteration. I don't know why they keep doing that. They keep tinkering with the same song like it's new or something. It's weird. Tradish! R8RBEAR Live, first comment. Woo! MVP tonight goes to John the Lion! Leon! Always catching L's, but never taking losses. Our guy, John the Lion. Leon, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Tonight's gold medalist. I see you working there. Second place, my two-belt wearing champion of the world, Mark, that 5 emoji making son of a Vargas. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. Don't worry about John. He just gets pesky every once in a while. You know what I mean? He's one of those number one contenders that, he just gets frisky and thinks, oh, I'll get in there. Third place, my bronze medal goes to Ramiro. Woo! Cash flow. Say it, girl. My wife's saying it from the kitchen. Castro! You're winning a lot if my wife knows your shtick. Welcome to the show, all my YouTubers. But now, where I cut my teeth 10 years ago, Facebook. No surprise here. The great one, Carlos. Boy, kids, your heavyweight champion of the world, numero uno el jefe down here on Facebook. Welcome to the show, champ. Second place, my silver medal goes to Jim by G-Man Garrison. What's up, Jim G? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. Bruh, a silver medal tonight. You've been, you know what? I know I said I've been recognizing you, but I'm recognizing you. Third, I'm still on the bronze. She's talking to the dogs. Third place, my bronze medal. Ooh, he's back. That sultry sounding son of a gun, LP. Lucky Pace. Lucky, I missed you, man. Got to get up, got to get back up in here. Get into the fisticuffs, get you some medals, All right, I'm just playing. I don't know what all that meant. British boxer, pugilist. Honorable mention to Corinna Trujillo. That reminds all of me to remind all of you to subscribe to R8RBEAR Live. Now, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Patreon, and you can find me on YouTube. And if you would on YouTube, please smash that subscription button and hit like right now. And I promise I will be informative, funny, and I will earn that like for my YouTubers. All right, so let's get to it. Step 1, fire Pete Carroll. I give up. I'm done. I got nothing else, Pete. I'm sorry. He's got to go. Now, I don't see any reason why you can't just let him finish the season. You know, that's been discussed. I even had a friend ask me that today. I probably let him finish the season, but then that's it. I don't even let him in the facility after that. Not after a season like this. Mike Hendu, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Speaking of stars contributed to the show, Steven and Mrs. Shaw. Appreciate the love on the stars, bro. Oh, two-time for Mr. and Mrs. Shaw. Appreciate the love, brother. Now, you have to fight Pete. You have to get rid of Pete Carroll. We don't have to go into it in depth. We've already talked about it a little bit before. He's basically a lame duck cut coach. Even if he was to come back next season, have a good draft, and have a good season, what are we going to do? Sign him to another deal? I mean, this was it. This was it. This was the Bon Voyage. You know, he's gonna retire. I don't see a scenario where he says, "Oh, you know what? The fire's still lit," you know, and someone else brings him on. I don't see that. So that's over with. So now, the rumor I was reading about earlier is that they want to try to convince this guy. Who was that? Let me see if I still have his name here. Clint Kubiak, to go ahead and be like the interim head coach for the time being. Or potentially the next coach, period. I'm not completely against that, but at the same time, I like the idea of just, that's a name right now. That's it. I don't like this. It's so matter of fact. The writer was so matter of fact with it. As though like there's no other coach for the job. I think that's ridiculous. Okay, here we go. Tom Brady should lead the charge for Clint Kubiak, who's the best play caller for the Seattle Seahawks, third-ranked scoring offense. If Kubiak declines the offer, the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady, now I really like Joe Brady, that's great, is also a quality candidate. Las Vegas must swing for the fences to hire an innovative play calling coach. Okay, so Joe Brady, I like that reference. Okay, we know what he's done with Buffalo. He would come in, get us up, get us running. And I don't mind the idea of having an offensive-minded head coach. Now, we're still going to be kind of juggling chairs on the Titanic, though, because let's say all things go perfectly, okay? And let's say we get Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator from the Buffalo Bills. Well, we're going to lose our defensive coordinator almost for sure, because the Giants are going to want him back. He's going to want to be a head coach. He's going to want that contract and that opportunity. I don't see how you pass that up if it's really on the table, and I think it is. So we're probably going to lose our defensive coordinator to the Giants, but I mean, bon voyage, farewell to him. I don't have anything ill to say about him. I don't think he's abandoning us or anything like that. He's been here a minute. When there were offers to him in the past, he pushed them aside, but now it might be the time. Hey there, Bro Bear. I'm probably going to be a little late with you coming on an hour earlier. Is that blue light saving stuff? Yeah. Jeremy McCrary, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. A little change on us. I don't see John as number one. Bear, hope you're finally ready to give up on Pete Carroll in the company. Yes, I'm not giving up on the company. That sounds like I'd be giving up on the Raiders. I know you didn't mean that, but yeah, I'm giving up on Pete. I find it hard though to criticize him only because of what we know happened with the situation with the general manager, him having no say in that, having no say in the offensive coordinator. He was a head coach, but he was a figurehead on a Rolls Royce. You know what I mean? It's chrome, it's beautiful, it's got the angel with the wings and all that, but it doesn't really do anything other than look good on the hood. You know what I mean? That's kind of what they did to Pete Carroll. He didn't really have power, not really. John, I don't think either man is going to step down. They're going to want to play out the season. Stuff like that's embarrassing to a coaching staff. And the Raiders, I don't think, want to embarrass Pete Carroll. I don't think he's done anything nefarious. This isn't Josh McDaniels where he's pissing off teammates, or pissing off players, favoring one teammate over another, saying they don't need motivation, go out there and do your job and stuff like that. They just didn't like that guy. That's the difference with Pete Carroll. He's a guy everybody likes. Yeah, Mark, it's looking more and more like Chip Kelly just took a payday. His first time in the NFL didn't go very well either. So I really thought he was going to come back with some innovation and some fire to do some things, but no, it has not. It has not panned out that way. Yeah, Jim Garrison, I think so. They're going to clean house. They're going to clean house, and to be honest with you, I don't see a reason why they shouldn't. Now you should start with idiots like Malcolm Kuntz, who has no business throwing punches or shoving guys or doing anything else like that. You're not a good player. You're not a great player. You're barely a serviceable player, but now you're getting penalties called on you because you decide you're upset and you want to swing at a guy. I'm all Malcolm Kuntz out. I am Malcolm Kuntz out. I've so had enough. Kuntz, Tyree Wilson, Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll, Pete Carroll's kid, all got to go. Chip Kelly got to go. And then I don't necessarily want to see Patrick Graham go, but he's going to go. We probably would get picks for Graham, John, but I don't think they're going to be picks that are going to change the world. Yeah, I don't know what that's about, Mark Vargas. It offered me something where it does a split window so you can see my show both ways. You can see it this way or that way. Yeah, Mike, I think they're going to. I think the whole coaching staff is gone. Now, the special teams guy just came on, so if he can make some sort of name for himself in these next few weeks, he'll probably be able to hold on. Because special teams obviously is important, but it's not crucial to winning. So they can kind of look at him more, maybe let him stay on while they fix everything else. And then after a while, if the special teams aren't continuing to grow, prosper, and hold at a good level, then you let him go get someone else. Woody Brown, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I'm a big Wolverine fan myself. What's up with Raider Bear? This team is the worst that any Raider team the last 10 years. I just think this is a product of too many voices in the kitchen cooking instead of one chef. You know what I mean? And the person you made the chef had no power. You know, he had sous chefs all around him kind of doing their own thing and not doing very well. And I wouldn't be surprised if Chip Kelly, after they fire Pete, after they fire Pete Carroll, Pete Carroll, I wouldn't be surprised if Chip Kelly ran to the office and said, I'd like to put my name in as a potential head coach. Like he sandbagged it all season and did sucky play calls and didn't show enough variety to get Pete Carroll fired and then says, hey, but I could do the job. Yeah, Steve Shaw, I agree. I think they're going to start all over. I was talking to this chick telling what it's like to have a baby. Wow. Okay, Ram Jamal. Good luck with that. Let's see. He's not playing Spytex players knowing the season is over. He benched all of Spytex players. Yeah, I mean, but then that looks how it looks. I mean, whether it's perceived as funny by some people or as resistance or being petulant or whatever you want to call it, I don't know that anyone's going to see it as a positive, you know, because while he was making a statement, we were getting slaughtered. And remember, if you care, you share a Raider Bear. Kevin Kahuhano and his lovely wife, Honey, and their whole family. Love you guys. Exactly, John. The calls that work, he goes away from. Yeah. You're allowed to die. You many hands in the cookie jar. Correct. Too many hands in the cookie jar. Glenn Ford, I like the Joe Brady thing. We were just talking about it. I don't know how long you've been with me. We were just talking about that. I like the idea of Joe Brady. I do. That to me is better than an innovative young offensive coordinator coach coming out of the college ranks, when you can have a guy now that's, been studying NFL defenses and for the most part burning them with his young quarterback. So I would like to see us focus on a new quarterback and then potentially go after Joe Brady. That could be very interesting. So by making a statement and going against the grain, he deserves to be fired ASAP. I mean, John, your logic is solid. I mean, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think they would rather Pete just be a bullet shield for Mark Davis, Tom R8RBEAR. Sorry, I'm struggling with it today. I'm really mad at him. Brady, there, if I say it really fast. Put foots at him. But yeah, if they can use him as a bullet shield for the losses and just keep blaming it on Pete, his play calling with Chip and so on, and that's what they're going to do. How do you guys feel about the whole thing, though, with Ginty? I mean, I know our offensive line is struggling, but I don't know, man. I just don't know how to feel with him. I mean, I do have an opinion, but I'm interested in your guys' opinion too. So anyone interested in commenting on Ginty, tell me what you think you're seeing. Tell me what you think you're seeing about him. Because see, I've been in football for a long time, or I've been around football for a very long time, and I feel like I'm seeing something in him. I'm seeing something in his running style, not his stance. I don't care about any of that Jason or Freddie or whatever they call his horror stance. But I don't care about any of that. I'm seeing something, and I'm curious what you guys see. If they fire Pete, do you think they'll let the new one pick his own people? Well, Joe, they'll let the new coach pick his people if he's established. So not if he's established. If he's established, but more importantly, if it's a Tom Brady pick, then he'll want to say, hey, I trust this guy. This is my guy. Do you see what I'm saying? He may do something like that. But you notice with Pete Carroll, he didn't do that because Pete Carroll wasn't his guy. Pete Carroll was his guy that he settled on. So he goes, yeah, here you go. Here's Pete. You know what I mean? But it's got to be his guy. Once it's his guy, I could see that guy being allowed to bring in their own staff. Mark, the blocking does suck. So let's just go on and continue with what we're talking about. So what's the first thing that has to happen? You have to fire Pete Carroll. Then you have to bring in a new coach that the ownership upstairs approves, and then let that guy cook. Now, once he gets here, then you've shorn up the coaching position as far as the head coach. You clear out the other head coaching positions, and he brings in his own staff, the coach's pick at defensive coordinator, the coach's pick at offensive coordinator, but that coach would just be running that coach's offense. So in other words, if we sign Joe Brady will pick a defensive coordinator that he trusts, and he'll give him the team. But as far as the offense, he'll pick an offensive coordinator that's going to run what Joe Brady wants run. Does that make sense? Because Joe's going to feel like he knows what's going to win the game for us. So he's going to get a offensive coordinator in puppet style that's just going to take his instruction. Okay, so that's done. Now let's get off the coaches. Interior offensive line. Now, I know I'm probably surprising some people by saying that because I'm a big proponent that you must make Max whole. And we cannot allow Max to keep getting double and triple teamed. We must get him help. Now, the article I was reading suggested Kayvon Chason, the guy that was with us that played pretty darn well and then left us for the Patriots. But from what I understand, he's going to be a free agent at the end of this season. So maybe we could bring him back because he played hella good football for us. He was really helping Max. So if we could get that guy, or at the very minimum, someone that plays at his level, because we got to shore up Max. We got to get the other side of the defensive line filled. But that is not the second most important thing. Number one, you fire Pete Carroll and find our coach of the future. Number two, you shore up the interior offensive line. I like the guys we got in this last draft, but you need more. We need more offensive linemen to fight for jobs until we get a cohesive unit. To be quite honest with you, we should even look at Colton Miller. I know. I'm not going crazy. I like Colton Miller too, but he's not a kid anymore. We're starting to see injuries now. Starting to see them yearly now. Last 2-3 seasons, it's gotten banged up a little bit. Needed a few days. And if you see that early on, that means later on in the next 2 seasons, sooner or later, going to pop an Achilles, tearing a ligament in his knee, something with his back, out for the year. And then we're dealing with it without backup. I think we need to look at that. I know we need a quarterback of the future. We should deal with that in the first or second round. But after that, interior offensive line. And then I want to find an animal on defensive line for Max Crosby, but that would be the third thing. But we need to get someone with experience. I don't want to trust the college the college ranks. I just don't trust that. It's Chip Kelly and the O-line, not Ginty. No outside runs with space at all. It's unbelievable. Jonathan Joseph Fernandez. Now, I tend to agree with you. I tend to agree with you. But we did see, though, at the last preseason game and in a couple games this season, he sometimes reads and reacts the wrong hole. The hole is right and he jumps left, or the hole is left and he jumps right. And then there's a couple days where his blocking, he looks like an animal. And then the next game, he looked clueless, and the Broncos were just running all around him. I don't know what to think just yet about. I just don't know what to think just yet about him. Don Wally D, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Mauricio, what's up, man? Welcome for sure. Draft a quarterback. We got the Jets version of Geno. Build around Bowers, Ginty, JP, and Max. Yeah, I feel that. When I say clean house, I don't mean of our obvious stars. I mean, JPJ's got to stay, Ginty, obviously, Bowers, obviously. You're a stupid joke. Mark Vargas, I'm not saying he's a good coach. I'm just saying it goes back. I mean, I think that it's true what you're saying, because I feel like our offensive line regressed from last year. It isn't just that we're not, as good as we were last year. We're regressing at different areas, and that's obviously one of them at offensive line. And so I would agree with you. I think it's Joe. It's hard though to evaluate when the players aren't playing so great either. Can we actually really trust Brady? Ouch, that hurt my fingers to type his name. Well, no, Corinna, we can't trust him to do that. But if we feel that way, you and I, and obviously we do, because he has no experience doing what he's doing. Zero. So why would anyone expect him to be good at it? Personally, I don't. I don't expect him to be good at it. I expected this calamity. I want my Raiders to be great. But I'm not going to sit back blindly and go, yep, but Tom and Mark, they're going to do it. No, that's not what I saw. I see more Mark bumbling and hiring people for their names rather than their skills. You know what I mean? I don't like it. I don't like the minority ownership deal he made with him. He already had him as a minority owner in the WNBA. Why wasn't that good enough? Come get into this football thing with me too. I think that's as much Tom as it is Mark, because I think he wants to take the Raiders from him. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Watching me on both. Trade Colton Miller ASAP. He gets hurt every year. I don't know about ASAP, John, but yeah, I would start looking for his replacement right now. Woody Brown, I don't know if moving Miller inside would work. I don't know if that would work. I get what you're saying because he'll take less wear and tear playing guard as opposed to tackle. But yeah, I don't know how well he would play there. Malcolm Kuntz needs to go. We need a linebacker that could cover tight ends and running backs. Completely agree. John, for Colton Miller, I would say we'd probably get he is a starter, but he's older. He's had some injuries. You got to negotiate those things. So where we might have normally gotten a 3 or 4 for him, I would say we would get a 5 or a 6, somewhere in there, or maybe 2 5s. Naked Raider, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Jimmy Mata, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Good to see you, brother. Ginty seems too small and out of his league when trying to play in the big leagues with all these 350-pounders. I know he's a rookie and he'll have a nice run or play out there, but then other the times he looks overwhelmed and clueless. I hope he improves. I would agree in part with that, Jim. It does seem like sometimes he'll hit a little home run for 15 yards, and then I've seen him drop that shoulder and pop people right in the jaw. And I'm like, okay, nice. And then the next play, he takes one step and he's socked. And it's because the offensive line is beat, but his awareness, you know what I mean? He's not quick enough to make at least that first guy miss, because he did have time to get the ball. He saw the guy, and then he kind of just clenched up to make sure he didn't fumble. And it's not fair to even judge a run play like that. It seems like he's hit, miss. Part of that's a product of being a rookie. Part of that's a product of an offensive line. We still have to give him another year. I didn't mean to imply that I meant we should cut him or say he's a bum early. I did not mean to imply that at all. I think he's a very good running back. I think he could be very good for us. I just think he needs to be shown daylight first, like with most running backs. And then once he gets through the line or around it, then he can start to make guys miss, use stiff arms, bang guys with his shoulders. And I think he'll be okay. But we've got to get him through the first level. Mike Sarah agrees. He's a rookie. He'll get better. We won't even give our rookie linemen a chance to they bring up players from the practice squad knowing the season is over. Give it to the rookies. I think part of that was going on, John. I think they wanted to see what else they also had on the bench, too. Jonathan Joseph Fernandez, great question. Thing is, the O-line is so bad, and Chip Kelly's play calling is Ginty all in his head. The poor guy, they got him all psychologically messed up. Ginty will be balling somewhere else as a rookie. No, I don't think he's going to leave. I mean, we're not going to trade him or anything like that. I think the bottom line is we have to give him time. But I'm just saying my initial reaction was kind of lukewarm. You know what I mean? I do feel like he's left plays on the field. You know that straight up and down camera they give you, not the side to side like where you're watching the game? If you watch the replays on the straight up, there's times when there's a hole there and he'll still kind of skip and not just charge. You know what I mean? And that's a product, I think, sometimes of seeing things and wondering, okay, checking stuff to not get blasted, get through the hole and make moves and get yards. I don't see the recklessness that I saw from him at Boise State. You know what I mean? I don't see the same attack at the whole point of attack. Jesse Parker, what's up, JP, my fashion designer? I took my shoes out for a spin, Jesse, and one of the kids that saw him, he didn't recognize him, and I showed him and told him the story, and he lost his mind. And then the most recent one was a guy over here at the farmer's market, and he saw him, and he was tripping because he noticed the tongue had the cheetah print on it. I'd be willing to review resumes, interview potential coaching candidates. Steven and Mrs. Shaw. Appreciate the love on the stars. And remember, guys, consider subscription. And I am on Patreon. Check me out. R8RBEAR, Bear family page on Patreon. No, I did not like the onside punt. I don't like onside. No. I don't like gimmicks. Teams that run things like that run them because they can't do straight up football. I want straight up football. I want a team good enough to do straight up football. I don't want flea flickers. You know what I mean? I don't want the hand it off to the running back. He crouches, turns around, gives it back to the quarterback, who then runs left, runs right. Nah. Quarterback tosses it to the running back. Running back goes wide and then throws it back to the quarterback on the other side of the field. No. None of that corny stuff, okay? Save that for the Cardinals. Oh, I'm out here in Arizona. I take way too many shots at them. I really do. There's a guy out here, and he was a... I shouldn't tell this story. It's going to make me look bad. But there's a guy out here. He's a huge Cardinals fan, and he was in line in front of me in a store. And the store happened to be one of those ones that has the lines where it sells like everything. Out here, it's called Beals. Out where you're at, it's like it would be more like a Ross. So if you think of like a Ross Superstore, it's similar to that. It's a little bit cleaner. That's kind of why we like it. But they call it Beals. And so we were in the Beals, and I'm in line. This guy's in front of me. He's got on a Cardinal jersey. He's got a Cardinal hat on, the whole 9 yards. And I was looking at Cardinal stuff while I'm in my Raider gear. And he turns and looks at me. He goes, "What's up, man? Raider fan." I'm all, "What's up, Cardinal?" He goes, "What are you doing way out here?" I'm all, "I live here now." He goes like, "Wait a minute, you're not a Cardinal fan though?" He thought I was going to trade up just because I moved out here. I'm all, "Man, you think you're going to sell a guy from California who's a Raider fan on the Cardinals? Do you see your merchandise right here? Do you notice every rack is full?" You can't even get Arizonans to wear Arizona. No, let me stop now. No, I won't be wearing that. You look great, though. Don't you want a new hat? You know, cup holder, keychain, anything? He didn't buy anything. If he had been smashing me as good as I was verbally smashing him, I would have bought something. I would have bought something just to shut him up. All right, I'm going to take this Raider license plate rack. How about that, buddy? And a cup, too. Go Raiders. Sanders is just a younger version of Geno. Let's see. Funny, you bring up the Cardinals because some are talking about us getting Murray. Tanamoku, that has been discussed. The only reason why I haven't really brought up that rumor is because I don't believe it. I don't really believe it. Now, I mean, it's cute and all, but I can't see us having the human Ken doll that's named Tom up in the luxury box thinking, "Oh, yeah, give me the curly-haired 4-foot tall guy." There's no way. There's no way. I don't see it. And it could be a great fit. He could show up, have a great camp with us, throw the ball all over the place, show that blazing speed. Hippie, out on the hill, on the hill. You know what I mean? Speedy Gonzalez. I was just ripping him because of the size again. But I used to love that cartoon. Be honest, I even sounded like him. Yeah. But no, that's not going to happen. I mean, if it does, it would be interesting because he's got a hell of an arm. Throws a great deep ball, and he gets yards with his feet. You know what I mean? If we could work a little bit of magic with the offensive line, we wouldn't even have to get super solid if we had him. We could just get solid. No, Mark, I get that. I was just saying I was at Beals, so I was trying to describe what it was like. Yes, we do have Ross out here. What do you think about trading for Joe Milton in the offseason? Okay. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, the kid with the Bengals, the quarterback there, Joe Burrow. I've even heard that name get tossed around. You know what I mean? I think Joe Burrow could be interesting. I think he's injury prone, but again, if we can make some improvements on our offensive line and we had some confidence in that, maybe I make that move for him. No, Jesse, I like playtime is over, boy. I'm 50 years old, and I don't think I've met a Cardinals fan in my Jim, that was only my second, and I live out here. But I give him credit, though. I give him credit. He had his gear on. He had a ball cap on, and it was pretty cool. He had an all-black ball cap on that had just the red cardinal head, and then he had on the normal red jersey. You could tell he had the normal red jersey on. I can't remember whose name he had, though. I can't remember which player he liked. Oh, Mark, yeah, there's a lot of Raider fans out here. When I went to Cactus Jack's, I couldn't believe how many people were there. Yeah, what do you think? I like Beals. Mark, I do. I like Beals. And the girls like it. They like me to take them every once in a while. My daughter only likes me to take her because she knows if she asks me to buy her something, I always say yes. I don't know how you guys feel about that kind of thing, but I just feel like if you're raising your child right, you can spoil them and they don't become jerks and brats and entitled people when they get older, as long as you make them somewhat earn those things. You know what I mean? You spoil them, but then there has to be times where you put them to work, you know what I mean? And you ask them to prove themselves in school and, you know, and earn your trust in certain things and things like that, and help around the house and cook dinner and so on and so forth. And then if you do those things, then, you know, dad's going to pay out. It's just how I am. Biggest improvement on our offensive line would be firing Brennan. Tana, there's a lot of people that agree with you on that. I got to be honest. Personally, I think it would be smart, but only for the reason that, how do I say this? But only for the reason that I don't think he has the confidence of the players. And if you lose the confidence of the players, you're not effective. You're just not effective. Geno Smith, I don't know. I don't know if I let him start once AOC is 100%. I probably let AOC have a start. And then even if AOC loses, I just let him keep playing, because you got to figure out what you have in him, but not because you necessarily want to keep him. But if you're going to empty the cabinet and move off of most of these players, which is what it seems to be, you know, the case, it's looking more and more like we might flush a lot of this roster. And if that's the case, hey. Brendan Carroll sucks. That's the bottom line. Again, no argument here. I can't. I mean, I agree. I just don't want to do that. That's a boring show, you know. But I would argue, though, that the players have to take a little responsibility for why he lost his job. You know what I mean? Because I think the idea that he's a complete idiot isn't fair. He knows football. His dad knows football. And his dad trusted him to have this job. That can't mean nothing. He can't know nothing. He can't just be a completely clueless coach. He can't be. So I just feel like part of this is the players not executing as well as we all felt like they would going into the season. I felt like the offensive line was going to play way better than this. Way better than this. I even felt like we had starters and some depth behind them. And instead, it's just come unglued. It's Kenny Pickett, the backup. Isn't Kenny Pickett the backup? Well, Mike, honestly, he is, but I don't think he's going to be a Raider at the end of the season. And so, see, Kenny Pickett to me is a fraud, an absolute fraud. I don't know any other way to say it. And I liked Kenny Pickett coming out of school, which is also embarrassing. But I think Kenny Pickett was one of those guys that got the Tim Tebow treatment, where he came out of high school, a college coach grabbed him and said, do what you do. Here's some plays, do what you do. And so he scrambled around with his long hair flying in the wind, and he kind of Johnny Manziel'd it, where he was improvising and playing blacktop football out there, basically winging it. And then he gets to the pros, and like Johnny Manziel, once a guy like that gets to the pros, you cannot wing it. There's no such thing as wing it. And if you try to do that, you get crushed because defenses are too complex now for you to just show up and run around and hope you can throw something that you find as you're scrambling. You can't do that anymore. And I think Kenny Pickett kind of brought that lack of knowledge and style with him to the pros, and it's showing glaringly. And then you add that to the fact that he doesn't even have enough confidence in his own hands to hold the ball without 2 gloves on. How often have you seen a quarterback do that? It's very rare, and it's usually because they have a lack of confidence in what they're doing with the ball. Alpha and Omega, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. You are late, young man. Sup, Bears? Demolition time for our team. Time to get the dynamite and blow it up and establish a new foundation. I don't even know if I'd say establish a new foundation. I'm keeping the obvious stuff. Max Bowers. That's it. What? That's it. I don't want any of these other guys. Even Genty, I'll give him time because he's a rookie, but he's lucky he's a rookie. Because if he was in his 2nd or 3rd year, he'd be getting the Malcolm Kuntz treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like Tyree Wilson's going to get. Mr. Shovel Smash, or I'm using my sledgehammer once every 4 weeks. Get out of here. That's the problem. Pete Carroll won't allow us to see what we have. He will go against the grain and start players that ain't going to be here next year anyways. Well, he's trying to save his job. You know, John, I mean, we can't look for logic in that. In other words, I don't think he can save his job. I think you don't think he can save his job, but he thinks he can save his job if he, say, wins out or has an impressive turnaround in these last, handful of games. Say he wins out right up to Kansas City and then beats KC. If he were somehow able to do that, then upstairs would have to maybe, rethink this, but that won't happen, and they won't do it. Nobody really liked Kenny Baby Hands Pickett except the Steelers, and even they let him go pretty quickly. So Coach Pete ain't going to make the Coaching Hall of Fame, but he damn sure knows his football. He got sabotaged by that son of a Brady. I completely agree. How's Mama Bear, the family, and the dogs doing? That's my guy right there. Appreciate the love. Alpha and Omega. That's my little prayer for you. Everyone's doing great, to be quite honest with you. My daughter's doing great at her job. My son just got a new job paying more money. My wife just got this big, she's getting a bonus, and we're supposed to be doing this work event, and they're paying for everything, our flight, our hotel, our dinner, everything. I was like, geez, man, because they just love her to death. So we're doing real good. Stephen Shaw would like to make a 3-word statement. Geno Smith sucks. Well said, Stephen. I fell asleep as soon as I got home and just now woke up to smash 2 tortas for dinner. Nice. Spytek better do something or he's going to lose his job just like Telesco. I don't know about that. Because remember, they chose him for the coach. Why wouldn't they do it again? Especially if they don't think Spytek's the problem. And that will be a problem for the Raiders. Because if we think we're going to get better just because they bring in a new coach, but then you keep Spytek, he's part of the problem we just had. I wouldn't understand keeping Spytek, but they probably will because that's Tom's guy. And Tom don't want to admit he's wrong unless he's really wrong. Yeah. Family in the house. Great profile picture, brother. Family, what's our next move? Well, Mark, we're gonna let go of Pete. That's got to be our next move. But because that's gonna wait till the end of the season, I don't think they're gonna fire him in season. It's possible, but I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do that. And if it does happen, I would put money on it. It'll turn out to be Tom who made that decision, not Mark. He's impatient. I've heard everything I've heard about Tom is he's kind of a drill sergeant, wants that win in now. You know, he's going to go the Bill Belichick style of operating things. 1 second. Bless you. You know what, Alpha and Omega? I don't know if he's going to be a part of the process. I mean, because if they really flip the script and really rip this down to the nuts and bolts, I'm letting him go too. Not just Chip Kelly, not just the offensive line coach, you know, not just the defensive coordinator who, I mean, let's be honest. We've loved our defense these last few years, but has it really been that good? You know, and we did have a point there last year and the season before that where we were in the top 10. And don't get me wrong, obviously that's good, but it was a very short stint in the top 10. You know what I mean? And it had more to do with our player personnel playing out of their mind than it had to do with coaching or a really solid defense. It was more like the guys were playing with their hair on fire. You know what I mean? And it was working, but I don't want to go to that again. We've got to get better. Yeah, I'd like to see more of what Charles Grant can do and the other offensive line when we picked up. I'd like to see them both. Okay, let me get back to this now. Where'd that go? Wow. Yeah, and honestly, you know, Dallas isn't really that good a team. You know what I mean? I mean, we all know that. Dallas isn't that good a team. We're just not that good a team right now either. And we got to get better. We got to get better. And I think the only way we really do that is if you bring in a new nucleus, but let the new coach make his, you know, situation. Don't make it for him. And the other problem with the Dallas game for Pete is that we weren't competitive. You know, early on, it looked like we could, you know, ride with him a little bit. But then when they started to pull away, we couldn't score anymore. But, you know, I mean, like Jordan Meredith, I think Jordan Meredith has been all right, you know what I mean, at center. But, you know, I wouldn't mind getting a little better than Jordan Meredith. I wouldn't mind doing that. The Raiders just recently waived Chris Smith. In fact, it was today. And we also released Leroy Watson IV from the practice squad. But signing guys like linebacker Jamin Davis, that's not going to move the needle for us. You know, Lonnie Johnson, one of our safeties, is back, you know, but he's still kind of getting himself right. Not 100%. All right, let's see here. I'm looking at Aiden O'Connell. The prior week leading up to Dallas, he had full practice all 3 days, and they still ruled him out to not even be able to play as a backup. I got to figure out what's going on with his wrist. I mean, it's just his wrist. It is his throwing hand, but I mean, how many full practices does he need before we know he can throw the rock? It seems kind of crazy. All right, so we got the Browns coming up next. I don't know if we're going to see Shedeur Sanders. I think Gabriel Davis or Gabriel Daniels, is that it? Gabriel Daniels, the quarterback that got hurt, went down, and they brought in Shedeur Sanders. I think that he'll get the start again. He's not going to want to lose that job. You know what I mean? And from what I understand, the injury he had is minor. So even if he's not 100%, he's probably going to go out there for Cleveland and try to help Cleveland continue to smear Shedeur Sanders. And then if he's still banged up or is ineffective, which is probably what will happen, they'll bring Shedeur out again. But it's tough because our offense, I don't know if you noticed this, but our offense in the entire game against Dallas just never really got their footing. Never. I mean, they never really looked comfortable. It was like they were playing. It was like they were running the offense while standing on a raft in the middle of a lake while it's rocking and they're trying to throw and block. You know what I mean? Like an earthquake was starting. Every single time they'd say hike and snap the ball, the ground would start shaking or something. They couldn't get anything together. I actually mentioned that earlier, Alpha and Omega. I do think it would be a good idea to just let him finish out the season. Steven Shaw! Appreciate the love on the stars, brother. And remember, stars go to charities that we work with all over the world. And we've been doing incredible work now. I've been on the air for 10 years. I'd say we've been working with the homeless for about 6 of that. And made a big difference. We really did some. Oh, Dylan Gabriel, excuse me. And we really did some things during COVID with shots and so on. Mark Alvarez, look at the bright side. The Chiefs suck this year. Not as much as we do. Oh, wow. Okay. So they're reporting he's got, okay. All right. Okay. So if Gabriel Dillon really does have a concussion and Shadour's going to get the start, this could be bad. I hope the kid doesn't have his coming out party with us. Alexa, resume. All right, that's my show. Much love. I hope I'm just going to shout over all of this bad language in this song. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force, for all you do. The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice, active and veteran. Much love, and I will see you again soon. Raider Bear family page. God bless you right back, Stephen Shaw. Shane Street, that's my guy right there. And everyone else, have a great night. Corinna, love you, girl. Everyone, great night. Alpha and Omega, great questions, great comments. Appreciate you. Mike, Sarah, great job. Appreciate you. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Raider Bear family page. Peace. It don't wash off. No. I'm going to go longer. I'm going to keep going. No, I don't want to stop.